I am Ambika, Assistant Professor from Velamal Groups. I am here to give you introduction about conditional statements. This will be useful for your Gritty Girls contest, where you can apply the technique and win the contest too. So here, let's start with the video. Right. So your conditional statements, let us go start with the agenda. The agenda is, I'll start with the introduction as what is conditional statements, then what are the types we are going to see in the conditional statements, along with its syntax and the procedure and the flow chart. It will be easy for you to understand through the flow chart. Next is what are the types, like if with its example, if else with an example, then if, else if and nested if with all examples. After the examples, we will go for a demo session also, so that it is clear for you to understand the techniques, right? So what is a conditional statement actually? A conditional statement is nothing but taking a decision on the right time. So if there is a condition where you have to apply if it's going to be true or false, at that time you have to take a decision. If true, what kind of statements has to be proceeded, and if it's false, what kind of statements has to be proceeded. Okay, so when it comes to decision making, we probably take the conditional statements. Okay, here the conditional statement is a programming language decided about the direction of flow program execution. Okay, it makes decision of true or false. If it's going to be true, certain statements which are coming along with the statements will be continued, right? So you might have the knowledge, because in the introduction session itself you would have seen what is the data type, what are the different data types, what is a variable, all this. So taking along with that, we are going to proceed with the statements, right? So as we have seen, what are the different types? So the types are if else, so if, else if and nested if. So let's go to the brief of each type. So if in the if statement, what we are going to do is, we are going to give the if, test the expression if the condition is going to be given in the if statement, and then we are going to prolong with the statements which has to be going on. So see here, we are going to only check for the condition which is going to be true. We are not going to say what is going to happen after it's going to be a false statement. So okay, an if statement is a decision statement making. It controls the flow of execution. It executes only the statements which are going to be inside the body of the statement of if. Okay, so if you see in this flow chart, it will be easy. Well, let me take a pen for you to understand. Let's start with the flow chart. So in the flow chart, we will understand how the procedure is going to travel. So if you are taking a condition under if it's going to be true, what are the statements it's going to carry out, and if it's going to be false, what are the statements it's going to carry out. Okay, let's take if there is a condition. Okay, so if you are taking a condition, there will be a true and a false part, right? So in the true part, you will be having a condition which has to be elevated with the statements, the body of the statements. Okay, so when it's true, it's going to evaluate what are the conditions that are going to be true. So here we will be having a set of statements which will be executed when the if condition is going to be true. And when this condition is going to be false, what it's supposed to do? So you are telling the statements nothing to be executed in this part. You have to travel to the next part of the statements, which is going to be along with the statements. If you see with the example, it will be a little more clearer for you, right? Yes, let's take a simple program for if condition. So let's take, there is a, you know what this is, right? So what is I? The I is nothing but a variable. So before itself, you would have known what is a variable, right? So let's continue with the example. So from the example, you will understand how the flow was going on in the previous slide, how the syntax works, right? Fine. Now you know what is I, right? So I is nothing but a variable name. So I, A, B, C. So in the introduction class itself, you would have seen what is a variable. Okay, so a variable I is going to take an integer value, and you know what this statement is looking like. Okay, this statement is nothing but it's going to input the values from the user. Okay, you can declare it, or you can even get the information from the user. So you know how to declare it in in the previous session or previous session slides, you might be able to understand. So I'm going to get the user's input. Okay, to get the user input, you know what statement we will take, right? Input. So input is nothing but a keyword which gets the input from the user, right? So it enters the number which is going to be of a data type what? Integer. Okay, then the condition comes here. See, from here only we are having the conditional statements. So if I, so whatever the number has been included over here, if I is less than or equal to 10, then it prints the statements. Okay? If this is going to be true, then only these statements will be executed. Right, fine. So if suppose if I am inputting a number called 9 over here, okay, I am taking the value 9, here I will take the value 9. If the condition is less than or equal to 10, what it will do? It is going to say that the condition is true. Okay, what happens if the statement is going to be false? If I am taking a value called number 11, okay, if I is going to be the input value 11, what I am going to do is I am going to check for the condition here. Here it will be 11. So 11 is going to be less than or equal to 10. No, the condition is false. Is there any statements that are to be executed? No, it will just print the black screen and come out. Okay, we'll see that in the demo session, right? So here let's see, and the entered number is 9. This is going to be true. So when it's true, it's going to enter whatever statement. So to print the value on the screen, what is the condition you're going to give, or what is the keyword you're going to give to print the statement on the screen? It's nothing but print. Okay, print. If it's going to be true, then the condition is true, it will print that statement. If that statement is going to be false, there is no other statements to be executed, so it will not be executed. Understood? Yes? Shall we go to the next slide? Yes. Now, if else statement. Before that, we will see the demo of the if statement, how it is working on. Okay? Right. Next is if else statement. In if else statement, what you are going to do here, in the previous section, we saw only the true statement. We did not go for the false statement. What happens to the false statement? How do you execute the conditions or the statements which are going to be on the false statement? We are going to use another structure. Okay, if you see at the flow chart, you will be able to understand. See, if the expression is given, if it's going to be true, it's going to execute the statements like print or any other conditions which are going to be given over there, it will be executing this part. And if it's going to be false, there was no statements previously. Understood, right? You will be able to give any statements that is going to be false. So that those statements will be executed in the precise manner. So what is the syntax of it? Here the syntax is if the expression, the set of statements, then else. And remember, don't forget this colon. This colon is very, very important. In syntax, you get the colon. If you give the colon, in Python, we end up the statements using colons, right? These all introduction you would have got before itself, right? So after this is going to be true. When it's true, these statements will be executed. When it's going to be false, these statements are going to be executed. So let's see an example so that you understand even more better, right? Fine? Yes. So let's start with the example. You know what is this? These are variables. So variable, the variable name is num, N-U-M, num, right? In the previous slide we had I, right? Here we are having num. So how do you input from the user? You can get the input from the user, or you can declare it straight away also. You know, right, how to declare it straight away? So if you are going to directly give it, how are you supposed to give it? You are supposed to give it NUM is equal to 9. If you give directly, it will take the number as such. But if you want to give it from the user, you are supposed to give the input statement. This is nothing but a keyword, right? Fine, you are inputting from the user. After you are inputting, suppose if I am taking the value, same value here, let me take it, 1 second. So let me take the input value. The input value is going to be 9 here. As far as the example is going to be concerned, okay, 9, in 9, the num is going to carry the value 9, so percentage 2, you know what this operator is, right? What kind of operator it is? Percentage symbol. It's going to calculate your remainder. It helps you to calculate the remainder. So when the remainder is going to be equal to 0, then you call it an even number. If that is not going to be true, then it comes to the else part. Can you see the difference? When this is true, it executes these statements. When this is going to be false, previously we did not have any option to go on with the statement because there is no else statement over there. But in certain programs, you might need only the true statements and not the false statements. But here you need both the options, because to find whether the given number is going to be odd or even, you have to check both the conditions. One is true and other one is false, right? So when it's true, it's going to print even. When it's going to be false, when it's not equal to 0, then it's called as the number is going to be odd. So it will print odd. So according to my program over here with the example, when you enter the number 9, then it prints, it checks whether it gets the remainder equivalent to 0. So you know equality. These are all operators. Don't forget, these all comes under operators. So be thorough with the operators also. So percentage is going to calculate the remainder. If remainder is going to be equal to 0, then it's going to be even number. If it's not going to be equal to 0, the statement, what is going to execute? It's going to execute, it's going to be odd. I hope you understood. If I'm taking another number, let me take another number and show you. We'll see a demo also on that. Okay, if my number is going to be 10, let me take this number is going to be 10. Okay, how it will check? So let me take the number 10. Okay, 10 modulus 2 is double equal to 0 or not. You know, when it's divided, it is equal to 0 because it's dividend, right? So when it's going to be 0, then what statement will be executed? This is becoming true, right? When this is becoming true, what statement will be, you will be getting? This statement will be printed. So the given number is even. Understood? Okay, we'll see a demo and the same example as we'll see it in the demo and how it is working also, right? Fine. Shall we go to the next slide? Yes. Next is elif statement. What the elif is going to do. So look at take a look on the syntax over here. So if expression colon body of the statements, and again it's going to check for elif expression body of the statement. And if both are going to be false, then it goes to else part. So remember the syntax: if condition or the expression colon, then go to a set of statements, then it goes to elif, again colon, another condition. So both is going to be, this is true, this is false, it goes inside. Okay, here it is going to execute. Then it goes to the, if both are false, it goes to the else part of the statement. Can you understand this? Yes? Let's see the flow chart of it. Okay, right? So the condition is coming. If it's going to be true, the statements under the condition true will be executed. Okay, if it's going to be false, another statement also is going to check. That is the elif part. This is the elif part. Okay, in this elif part, it will again check for the condition. Whether it's going to be true, then the block of statements is going to be executed. Then if that is also becoming false, that means both are becoming false, then it goes to the else part. Okay, yes, else part, and the statements will be going on. This is how your elif works, right? We'll see with the example, it will be understandable even more better when you go with an example. Okay, here the major example which we can take is the biggest of three numbers. Okay, the biggest of the first now, when you are going to check which number is going to be greater of three values, how are you going to input the values? So I told you, using the user input, you are going to take the A value, then user input, you are going to get the B value, then you are going to take the third value as the C value, right? We are going to compare all the values, and probably you know what this does, what this operator does, and you are going to use logic else. If this is going to be true and this is going to be true, then you have to print. If this is going to be, one statement is going to be false, it will not get inside this, it will go to the else part statement. Can you understand this? Am I clear to you? Yes, can you understand? So I'm going to enter 3 values. If all the 3 values is being entered, okay, for example, let's take the same example. My first value is 10, second value is 25, third value is 15. Okay, so this is A, B and C, right? So you're going to check whether A takes the value what? 10. 10 is greater than B value. What is the B value? 25. Okay, so B value is 25. Then again it's going to take the operator and operator, logical AND. Okay, so next it's going to check for the value what? A is 10 is going to be greater than C value. C value is 15. Right? It's going to check whether A value 10 is greater than 25 and it should be greater on both sides. Then only you can declare that number is greater. Okay? If it's going to be, is it greater? This also has to be true as well as this also has to be true. If any one side becomes false, it will not execute this statement at all. That is the purpose of AND operator. Understand? Yes. So when this condition is false, what it will happen? It will come immediately over here because this condition is not true as far as our example is concerned. Right? Fine. So next is B. B is nothing but 25 is less than A. A is nothing but 10. Okay, right? Then again AND operator. If B is nothing but 25 is less than C. C is nothing but 50. Right? So according to this condition, B takes a higher value. Right? So this side, when it takes the higher value, what statement will be printed? Right? If both the statements are not being executed, finally what it will declare? The else part statement. Got it? Yes. So when we are here, only one example I have given. In the demo session, we will try with all the categories. Let us take this as 25, this as 10 and this as 15. We will check for different values so that it is understandable for you to proceed along further. Right? Now can you understand if statement, how it is working? Elif statement, when these both are not going to work, then it goes for the third statement, which is the else part statement. So see how it is being declared and all. If condition colon, then again elif condition, again colon, don't forget that, then else part. Right? With the demo you will be able to understand. Let's proceed now. Next is nested if. So nested if is nothing but you have the if statement, then you will have more than one if statements can be used inside and inside, like nested. You say if, then again another if, and then one else. This if else statement has an else statement, and then this statement has an else statement. Okay, so you can do the condition, check the conditions in a nested format also. That is called nested if structure. Right? Fine. Let me erase it so that it's clear for you. You can have multiple if statements and multiple else statements also. Right? Right. Let me show you the flow chart and as well as the example for it. So let's see. Say the first condition comes. If it's going to be true, it goes to the second condition. It checks whether that condition is also true. Okay. If that condition is true, it takes certain steps, stages of statements. Then it goes to the rest of the body of the conditions. Right. If it's going to be else, what it's going to do? It's going to take an entirely another part or another set of statements. So this is the syntax. See, if condition, if it's going to be true, it's going to evaluate certain steps of statements. If it's going to be true, then it goes to the second condition. If that condition is having two options, true or false. If that is going to be true, then it's going to evaluate some certain steps of statements. If that is going to be another else if statement. If the else if statement there also is going to be true, then only these statements will be executed. If all the statements are going to be false, it comes to else part and these statements are executed. With the same example, we will be able to understand even more. Right? See, In here, as usual, you are taking the input from the user. Okay, a value is going to be 10 here, right? If it's going to be 10, I'm going to check for the condition. You know how the if statement works, right? So if 10 is less than or equal to 15, yes, true, then it gets inside the loop. And see, can you see here one statement here? There is a nest here, right? Another if statement is given. Another if statement, what it does? Okay, this if is going to check once again. It's already true. It gets once again inside. It's checking for another condition where 10 is equal to 10. If 10 is here, the value you have given is 10. 10 is equal to 10. It's true, right? So it will play. You will get the statement called play cricket, right? If that is going to be false, what it will say? Play kabaddi. Only this statement is true, this statement is false, it goes to the else part of the statement. So this else will be combined with this else, and this if will be combined with this else. If all the statements are going to be false, then it takes this loop. Can you understand? Shall I repeat it? See, from first let me tell you how this works. It's called as nested if statement. Right? So in this nested if statement, how it's going to work? I am going to take the same example over here. So let me enter the number as 10. Okay, there is going to be, so how many ever if is there, try to give the else part, or if it's going to be a single if statement also, it's well and good. But you can, the ideology here is we are going to give a number of if statement inside another if statement. That is what I told you before. So if you are going to have, let me take the pen here, if you are going to have an if statement and an else statement, okay, this you know, if it's going to be true, it's going to execute certain conditions. If this is going to be false, it's going to execute certain conditions, right? So inside that I can declare another if else statements also, or I can have else statements also. So it can be having any number of if and else if statements inside. Okay, that is what is called as nested if, right? So here I am going to declare the value, an integer value which is going to be 10. Then I am going to check for the condition if it's going to be true or false, because decision making, right? So 10 is less than or equal to 15, it will check. Yes, true, right? When it's true, it's going to execute the next statement, right? The next statement is also another condition. What is the condition? If n is double equal to 10. If 10 is double equal to 10, what's going to do? Right? If it's double equal to 10, that is also true. Then it executes this statement. Okay? If this is going to be false here, what it will do? This is the else part will be executed. If both the conditions are false, what it will do? This statement is executed. Okay, as far as our example is concerned, it's going to be equal, and this part is displayed over here. Got it? Yes, understood? Any difficulties? So that's it. We will move on to the demo sessions of all the statements one by one. Thank you. Yes, we saw about how if statement was running, right? So let us see the simple example. The example we have already seen in the session. So same example we'll try to execute here for you to understand even more. Right? Shall we continue? Let's open up a terminal. You know, right? Ideally terminal. So this is how your terminal looks, and we are going to open up a new file. Right? So in this we are going to execute each and every conditions, like conditional statements. What all we have seen: if else, and if else statement, and then nested if statements. So for all this we are going to have a demo session. First we will start with the if statement. So first we are going to type in the same example, exact example which we have seen in the presentation, right? So int input goes along with enter the given number. So what I told you, this statement, what is this statement? You are going to input the value. You are going to get the value from the what? From the user. Okay, you can give it directly also, no problem, right? So we'll see on same way as we go on. I'll show it for another example also. So this means you're going to input going to get the information from the user. And you know what is this? This is the integer data type. Okay, you know what are the different types of data types, right? So this is the integer data type, and this is nothing but your variable name. Your variable name here is going to be I. So you're going to get the variable name. That input is going to be taken into the variable name called I. So next comes the condition. So if condition, I'm going to give the condition as I is less than or equal to 10. So if my I is going to be less than or equal to 10, it's going to take the condition as true, and that true statement is going to be executed, right? So here another point which you have to always remember is the indentation. If you have a problem with indentation, you will be facing the errors. Okay, so be careful with that. So before that, the syntax, don't forget the syntax. You have to give a colon after the condition which is going to be given, right? So then print, again go along. If it's going to be true, it's going to execute the statement that the given number is true. Fine, can you understand? So let me have an equal to or a comma so that you can understand, right? Let me execute it. To execute it, you know how it runs, right? So you go to the run command. Okay, see, this is the ideally platform where you have to you do it in the terminal. Here this is called as the terminal. You can execute here also. I think probably you know what are the two types we have. So here we are having a separate notepad or a place where you can execute the command, the shell place and the terminal place. Okay, in this terminal also you can run, right? So I'm going to now run this F5. So before that, you know, you have to save it. So it's going to be example 1 or example 1 for if, right? I'm going to save. Okay, now I'm going to check. So if there is no error over there, it has executed the first statement. So like this, if it is asking, means the input command is going to ask for the input from the user. Okay, I am the user, I'm going to input the value, right? So let me check with the same example which I have given. So then the entered number is 9. So if the statement is going to be true, it's going to execute. If it's not going to be true, what it's going to do? It is not going to type any statement. Let me check that also. Once again, let me run the same program. Let me see, I'm going to give 11. Let me see what it's going to do. See, I'm not having any statement. This statement is not true, because for else part, for the statement, if it's going to be false, nothing will be executed. Can you understand? The first statement, it's getting the input from me. If it's checking whether the condition is true, if the condition is true, this statement is executed. If it's going to be false, nothing will be executed. It keeps moving on. Or else you can even give another statement like this for you to understand. Keep moving on. Can you understand? Let me execute this and see whether my statement is correct. So first it will ask for save it. If it's going to be 11 once again, keep moving on. Can you see the difference? Here you can see that the given number is true if the condition is going to be true. If it's going to be false, the rest of the statement is being executed. Any number of statements can be given over here. Okay, can you get it? Right. Next is, let's continue with the if-else statement. So if else, how it is going to work on? Can you understand how if else? If here in the previous slide we had true or false statement, only true statement, we did not have false statement. Here we are going to have true, some set of statements to be executed, and false if some statements are not going to be executed. The appropriate example for this is odd or even. That is the best example for else if statement. Okay, so first condition we are going to check. First I am going to get the input value from the user. Let me take the variable name as num, right? So num is going to be an integer value. So int and I'm going to take the input from whom? From the user. So I'm going to use input keyword. Then I'm going to enter the statement. Enter. Before that, I have to give colon, open the quotes, right? So enter. So whatever statement is going to be given inside the quotes, it's going to be executing that, right? So enter the given number, right? Fine. So equal to. So whatever is going to be given in the quotes, it's going to be printing as such in the terminal base, right? Fine. Again, there are two brackets. I've opened one bracket here, another bracket here. I'm checking whether I've given it properly. So I've got the input from the user. Next statement is going to be the condition. So yes, if num, okay, percentage symbol. I told you percentage symbol is going to calculate whether the remainder, it's going to check for the remainder, right? For odd or even, what is the condition? If the remainder is going to be 0, it's going to be even, and if the remainder is not going to be equal to 0, that means it's a what? Odd number, right? Fine, right? So it's going to print again the given number is even. If it's going to be true, it's going to execute given number is even. Yes, number is even number, right? Then I'm going to have the else part, right? The else part consists of else colon. So don't forget this colon, it is in the syntax, right? So if it's going to be else, so print open quotes, the given number is an odd number. If it's not going to give you any zero value, it's going to be an odd number, right? So given number is odd number. Fine. So close the quotes. So let's see whether it's going to be executing. Before that, what you have to do, we have to save the file, right? So save it as some else if example 2, right? Save. Okay, it's executing. If you are having any errors, it will show that it is going to be error. So let me try for a number 3. So as you normally know, so it's going to be an odd number. My program should execute. What is the answer for it? It should enter the given number is an odd number. Got it? Let me try it out for an even number. So go again. F5. When you give F5, let me try for a number 4. You know it's an even number, right? The given number is an even number. So once again, let me explain you the program. So you're inputting a value. So the user input is going to be 2. Let's take an example. If my user input is going to be 4, so it takes 4 percentage 2. It's going to find the remainder is going to be equivalent to 0 or not. So these are all operators. Don't forget, these are all operators. This is double equal to 0. The condition is not going to go further than that. It's double equal to, it should be confirmedly equal to 0. Then only you can mention that it is going to be odd or even, right? And this is nothing but the percentage symbol is going to fetch your remainder. So the given number is 4. 4 mod 2 is going to give you a remainder or not? Yes, it's going to be 0. Okay, the remainder is going to be 0. So which statement will be executed? The even statement will be executed. If my number is going to be an odd number, if this is going to be 3 mod 2 is going to give you a remainder of 1. Is it equivalent to 0? No, it's not going to be equivalent to 0. So which part will be executed? The else part will be executed. I hope you people understand, right? Now let's go to the next one. So let me open up a new terminal for this. And next statement, what statement we saw? We saw elif statement, right? We'll try to execute an elif statement, how it's going to work. So for that, the best example we saw was 3 numbers. So the greatest of 3 numbers, how to fetch the greatest of 3 numbers is the example over here. Let me go along with the example. So we saw A, B, C, right? So A, let me get the integer value. It's going to be an integer value. I am going to input it from the user. So enter the value of the first number, or enter the value of A. Okay, fine. Next is three numbers, right? So biggest of three numbers or largest of three numbers, right? It's going to be integer, then again once again input, then enter the second value or the value of B, right? Fine. So here two brackets are being opened, so be sure that you close it equivalently, right? Again the next one is another integer value. You can try for even float values. Okay, I'm just giving you the demo for only for the integer value. You can even try for the floating point value. If it's going to be float, what will you give? Here you will give float. Remember, try with that also. Okay, here I'm going to use all the integer statements, so I'm going giving it as int data type. Okay, got it? So enter the value or the third value as C, right? Again close two brackets. Now comes the condition. So if A is greater than B and A is greater than C, you know, this is the operator and operator logic gates you use. This is true and this is also true, then A becomes the biggest number. See, if A is greater than B and A is greater than C, which is the biggest number? A should be the greater number or the biggest number, right? So both has to be true. If any one thing goes false, this condition will not work. It goes to the elif part, right? Fine. So you have to indent one statement. So give print A is the greatest. Fine people, can you understand? Right here I have made a fault. What it is? Colon, the syntax, right? Don't forget colon because it carries the syntax. Next is the else statement, which is going to be not an indent. So elif if B is greater than A and B is greater than C, which one is greater? B is greater, right? So print B is greatest. Fine. Right. Okay, if both are false, then we have the else statement, right? So else colon, here also again I have forgotten my colon, so again I come here, give the print statement, right? Print C quotes C is the greatest. Let me put the greatest. Okay, let me check whether we are having any errors. So before that I have to save it, right? F5. So let me save it as LF example 3, right? Save. So there are no errors, it has been executed. So first number is going to be what was the example we had? We had 25, right? So 25, then again we had, let me put 11 and let me put 15. So A is greatest. Now let us check once again for other statements which are going to be. Okay, let me check with the greater value of B. Okay, now A is 11, B is 25, C is 15. B is greatest. Can you understand, children? Again, if you have to execute, you have to go back to the terminal, you have to execute from here, right? Now I'm giving a C as the greatest number. Let me check whether that one is also working. So let me give A as 11, B as 15, and C as 25. C is the greatest. Okay? See, both the conditions should be true. If this is true, even this is true, then only A becomes greater. If this becomes false, this statement will be not executed. It will go to the next statement. Remember that. Okay? So, I think probably you would have understood how the else if statement is working alone, and if with else is how it is working, and the elif with the elif how it is working. Probably you understood, right? Now let's go for the last one. Last one is nothing but, what did we see? We saw about nested if, right? Nested if is nothing but if inside another if. Okay, so let me close this one, go for the new terminal. Let's start with the same example which we have. So I'm going to take an age which is going to be an integer data type. I'm going to input the value from the user, right? Enter. Before that I am supposed to put enter the age. Fine. Right, two brackets are open over here. Let me go. If, again condition, if my age is, let me give a bracket over here, if age is less than or equal to 12, okay, if this is going to be true, it will get into the print statement. Here let me print you are a kid. Okay, you are, one second, you are a kid. Okay, if this is going to be true, it will execute this statement. Then I'm going to have another if statement. This is going to be nested if, right? So another condition also I'm checking. What I'm checking? If age is less than 5, okay, what am I supposed to print? So again, an indent operation, print some statement, and you are below 5, okay, because my condition is going to be below 5, right? So it will print you are a kid, and it will also, if it's going to be true, again it will check another condition. What is another condition? If the age is going to be less than 5. If it's going to be less than 5, it will mention that you are below 5. Okay, below 5. Let me age 5. Okay, below 5. Okay, if this is not going to be true, what it will do? It will go for the else part. See, everywhere what mistake I have done, I've not put colon. So again here I'm going to check the else part for it. Here I'm going to print, right, but not below 5. Got it? Right. So for this you have given an else statement. For this you have given an else statement, true or false condition. Again you're going to check another condition, right? So here I'm going to put else, right? So the indent should be here. You know what is indent, right? The without this space, if you are giving, we'll see whether if you'll get an error. I'll show you how it shoots up an error. Okay, you are below 12. Okay, right, let me successfully execute it. After successfully executing it, let me check with an error. I'll show you how error occurs also, right? Fine. Right, this is going to be nested if, example for nested, save. So it doesn't have any error. So let me see, I should give a value called 9. Let me check. So you are a kid. So it's true, it's coming as you are a kid, but you are not below age 5. Got it? Let me take this screen. See, here I have given as 5. The age is less than, it's checking 9. 9 is less than 12. So it's printing the statement. It's true and it's printing the statement. Then what else you can see? 9 is less than 5. No, it's not less than 5. You are not below 5. Then this part is executed, then it keeps going on. Understood, children? Let me show you an indentation error also for you to be clear. See, right? You're running this program. See, expected an indented error. So when you're giving the nested if, be sure you're giving the indent problem. So this is an typo error. Fine. So again, successfully, let me run it and show it to you. Right, again I'm giving something more. Let me give 15. Right, so you're not kid, right? That statement is being executed. You're not a kid, so you're not below 12, so you cannot be called as a kid. Can you understand? Both the examples I've given you, and another statement also have told you, right? So let me give a user input. Without using a user input, let me show you. Fine. So this is nothing but comment, you know, right? Triple quotes is nothing but comment line, right? If I'm giving the age directly, let me give the age directly. If I'm giving the age directly as 15, let me run and show you what it shows. See, immediately in the screen, it's not getting the input from the user. It is automatically typing the answer over there. See, if it's going to be below, let me give 9 here. Let me run and show you this. Got it? So when it's going to be nested, how the conditions are being checked. Can you understand this? This is how you are supposed to use the conditional statements. Are you clear, children? If any doubts, you can ask.